Hi, I'm talking to you. I came to give us some encouragement to tell us don't we dare quit, don't we dare give up, and don't we dare throw in the towel. God has not forgotten about us. And I came to remind us that God is intentional about what he does. All things work together for our good because God is intentional, never failing. We don't have to worry because God is intentional. See, you might was going in one direction, but God had you to go a different direction. And the reason being, it was intentional that you avoided that wreck. God is intentional. See, you might be used to walking in one neighborhood, but God had you to walk in a different neighborhood. And when you were walking, you looked down on the ground, you saw some money, you picked it up. It was God's intentions for you to find the money. And that's a specific neighborhood because God is intentional. It was intentional for you to be blessed. All things work together for our good. God is intentional, never failing. We don't gotta worry. And I did say gotta. All things work together for our good because God is intentional, never failing. See, you probably went on a job thinking that you're going for one thing, but God really sent you there for something else. So you could be the one to teach the people in the office. You could be the light in a dark place. God is intentional, never failing. All things work together for our good. We don't have to worry because God is intentional. It is not God's intention for us to perish, but it is God's intentions for us to be saved. It's God's intentions for us to grow and glow. All things work together for our good. See, you might have went through a breakup and you're wondering why me, but it was God's intentions for it to be you so you could be a help to somebody else. Either to tell them, you know what, I tried it that way and it don't work. So why don't you try it a different way? Or it's probably, you know what, I got through it. You can get through it. You're going to be okay. See, it was God's intention for you to be voted in a position, for you to be hired in a position, for you to be the one that they volunteer for a position. Why? Because all things work together for our good. He's intentional, never failing. All things work together for our good. See, I may not talk like other people think I should, but God's intention is for me to encourage somebody, to let them have faith over fear. God's intentions is not for me to be someone that disrespects other people. God's intentions is for me to have the utmost respect for people. And I may not say it like other people say it. I may not do it the way other people do it. But just know, God's intentions for me is for me to encourage you that you got this and God got you. See, I was at the grocery store and there was a lady in front of me that had a lot of things. She had already let other people go before her, people that act like they was in a hurry. I got somewhere to be. I got to get back to work. She let them go ahead of her, and when they rung up, of course, they turned in and they told her thank you while I walked up. She looked at me. She said, "You can go ahead." I said, "No, ma'am. I'm in no hurry." I said, "I have patience and I don't have anywhere to be." I said, "It'll be okay." She started ringing up her stuff. After a while, she turned around and she looked at me and she said, I tried to give you a chance. I say, ma'am, you go and check your stuff out. I'll be fine. All is well. I said, it's okay. So I set my stuff up on the counter and she looked at the cashier and she said, I want to pay for her stuff. I just broke down and started crying and I said, Lord, I thank you, because it was God's intentions for me to be blessed that day. It was God's intention for me to have somebody bless me. But it was also God's intentions for me to be nice to somebody, for me to show somebody that I have patience. People in the world still have patience, because all things work together for our good. I thank God for being intentional. See, Jesus died on the cross for us, and it was intentional that God allowed him to come down on this filthy earth. It was intentional for him to be lied on. It was intentional for him to be spat on. It was intentional for him to have a crown of thorns. It was intentional for them to pierce him in the side. It was intentional for them to put him on the cross. It was intentional for him to give up his life, because they didn't take it. He gave up his life that we may have the right to the tree of life. It was intentional. It's intentional for him to sit on the right hand of the Father, making intercessions for us. Pleading our case daily. It is intentional. All things work together for our good, because God is intentional, never failing. We don't have to worry, because we know it's working out for us. We may not understand the direction. We may not understand the path. But we got to trust God through the process, because he's intentional, never failing. All things work together for our good. And it don't matter what it is that you're facing. You don't face it alone. And it is God's intentions for you, for me, to come out better, more powerful, more graceful, more thankful, more blessed than we were before, because he is intentional, never failing. All things work together for our good. I didn't come on here to be on here long. It's just been in my spirit that God is intentional, never failing. All things work together for our good. God loves you, and so do I. We're going to make it. We got this, and God got us. All is well. God is intentional, never failing. Hugs and kisses.